Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are watching from. So we are continuing with our classes or the lectures on lecture 3. We're continuing with the summary of the scene 2. So we continue. We said that in our class, we said that Askar informed us that Jasper has been released from jail, but has nothing to go to back since his parents were found dead in their hut. When Jerry and Moses are left alone, Jerry informed Moses of the events of the previous night, where he and his teammates decided to play Pilate and Jesus according to Jerry. So this is a continuation of our third lecture. According to Jerry, Pilate had humiliated Jesus by stripping him and caning him on the buttocks. Jerry's co-actor cried out after receiving the canes, alerting the prison authorities, who moved Jerry to the cell where Moses had after stripping him and caning him. The two cellmates, Jerry and Moses, take time to know each other. Moses tells Jerry how he ended up in prison. He had attended an Edika's funeral where he saw firsthand the oppression by the political elite. He couldn't keep quiet, so while telling the politicians his mind, he was arrested and charged with the trumped up charges of processing drugs. He changes his name because the person who implicated him with the drugs shared a name with him. We learn of the regime's way of silencing dissenting voices through the experiences of inmates. Moses has been informed by Askari to cooperate in the performance of a play organized for a visiting head of state, and in return, he might be among the 600 prisoners who are to be released. He doesn't want to do this. This and acting in the play means kneeling in front of boss and pleading for mercy that he is only guilty. Prisoners are also denied food, and only the ones who show signs of cooperating with prison authorities are allowed privileges. This is evident when Askari brings a mug of tea. The citizens of Kafira had been waiting for the kingdom for years, and at last they were told it had come. According to Moses, it was an illusion. He wonders how many people had seen the kingdom and what color it is. Moses is disillusioned. He says they have killed their past and they were busy killing the future. He laments about the oppressive nature of boss regime. For instance, soldiers had beaten up Regina and had forced her to give false evidence against her brother, Moses. Moses violently wriggles as if in a trance, rises and addresses the imaginary audience. His words portrays his confused state of mind. On one hand, he is fed with the choice of participating in the play, a sacrificial act that will lead to the release of 600 prisoners, or on the other hand, hold on to his principles and reject the request to participate in the play. So we also have some questions here on revision on season 2, which I will give you later in word or in the notes that I'm going to give you. So we are going to continue with our classes. We are going to scene 3, and in scene 3, we say that Jasper stealthily enters Regina's room without her notice, and scares her. He is in his red academic gown, and in this heightens Regina's anger at him. She requests him to rest, but he says he can't rest because the death of his whole family is in his mind. Apart from Adika, Nina and Dogger were murdered in exchange for Jasper's release. He says that he will get his revenge someday. Jasper was among the university students who protested on the streets, and as they did this, people shouted abusive words at them. In addition to telling that they were wasting time with the protest, it is also apparent that the government will not allow Adika's photograph to be printed in the newspaper. Regina would be happy if Jasper was to keep off from trouble with the authorities. She tells him that she has only him and Moses left in the world, and if anything went wrong, they would all be wiped out. Jasper insists that they have to talk of the masses that have no voices. Regina tells Jasper of the scheduled visits to Kafira by a certain head of state. If this is to happen, then there will be 3 days holiday for all, in addition to the prisoners being released to mark the occasion. She has a letter from Tumbo, who is Boss' right-hand man. In it, Boss has promised to facilitate the release of Moses. This does not go down well with Jasper, who can read mischief in the act, but who nevertheless promises to beat him at his own game. Tumbo, a fat, overconfident man, enters the house. He notices through Jasper's dressing that he is among the university students who are being known for rioting. Tumbo is already familiar with Jasper's name, which was signed against a student's prayer that was all about asking God to help them drop their Christian names. Tumbo warns him that if the prayer by any chance suggested changing names, Jasper would be behind bars. Jasper sarcastically wonders why this would be the case, yet since change of names was in item number 3 in the new development plan. Furthermore, Boss himself has substituted his Christian name to something that no one could pronounce. Tumbo defends Boss by saying that a leader requires a mysterious name that that the common tongues will bleed trying to pronounce. This is a pointer to Tumbo's psychopathic nature. Tumbo revisits the issue of the visit by a certain head of state to Kafira. He learns from Regina that Jasper writes plays, and since they require a one-act play for their entertainment, he concludes that Jasper can write one for the occasions. Tumbo says that he could have written one himself, but being a socialist, he thought of extending the opportunity to others to show them light, to eat and let eat. From their talk, we learn that Boss is a fearful and insecure man who has let advisors rule Kafira while pretending to be tough. He is hated by his own guards, who will not talk about it. The worst of his advisors is his cousin Mulili, who has been rewarded with a large farm for his service to the nation. Boss is said to be of short temper and has a weakness for women. So that is the end of our third lecture. So we hope to continue with the third scene in the fourth lecture. See you soon. Bye for now.